Joining us now is Don Sadoway. He's with the Technology Innovation Forum. Don, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
You're giving a talk titled Inventing Inventors, Faculty at Their Best. So give me a thumbnail of that. What are you going to be talking on?
I'm going to tell people how I view the inventive process, both on the technology side, some domain-specific lessons that I've learned in developing this liquid metal battery, but then in parallel, what I've learned about how to stimulate the inventive process, sort of surprises that I've learned, and I'll give them some technology as well. So it's going to be running on many levels.
Scientists, obviously, they love the work they do. They're researchers. Mm-hmm. But there's also a business side to it. Ideally, they're going to make money to support themselves as well. So how do you accelerate the commercialization of the things that they're inventing or new materials?
So I take a very different approach from, I think, that most people here take. Most people here are focused on cutting-edge research to get the most exotic materials with never-before-seen properties and so on.
Sure.
I don't do that. I instead look at market needs and then ask myself, for example, something like grid-level energy storage. Why doesn't it exist? We've got batteries, so why aren't we using them? And it turns out that the main impediment is cost. So if cost is the main impediment, then the only solution is going to be a low-cost solution. So I embed the search for low-cost solution right into the very earliest stages of research. And that guides the direction. And so if I'm already thinking about cost at the basic research stage, mm-hmm. It's my thesis that will, more than anything else, accelerate the rate of progress. Very often people have new materials that are absolutely fascinating,
sure,
and remarkable sets of properties, but scalability is so far down the road. So if that's the problem, then put that into the wish list right at the beginning, and that'll accelerate the rate of progress.
Well, you mentioned the impediments to innovation. Are those some of them? You mentioned scalability. What exactly are some of these impediments?
Well, they're all around the scalability issue, because it's a long road from the lab bench to the marketplace. And I mean, my experiences have been that the research that was done on campus was never overturned, but the impediments had nothing to do with the actual findings of on-campus research. So for example, in trying to make a battery big enough for the grid, the laboratory cells work beautifully, and nothing in the company has negated that. But what are we struggling with? All sorts of manufacturing issues, which take me far removed from my center of gravity intellectually, and that's the sort of thing that we're not prepared for.
Well, this sounds trite, but how do we invent inventors?
Oh, it's quite simple.
It is?
Yes, yes. We're all very curious. Everybody at this conference is very curious by nature, and they just need to be stimulated. And it's really just a matter of raising one's sights and saying, you can do more than this. And I've seen it. I've been at MIT for over 35 years, and I've seen young junior faculty come in and top of their field in very esoteric areas. And I drew them into a multi-PI project in which we were thinking about some application, and it changed their lives. They continue to be top-notch scientists, but they understand now that there's a a societal impact that can be had only by getting a product into the marketplace. It's not about getting one more paper into a high impact journal. You know, a high Hirsch factor doesn't correlate with a high societal impact.
True. All right, Don, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the meeting.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine.